All right, Chapter 1 practice test, free response. Let's get right after it. Number 1, use the coordinating plane to the right. Answer the following questions. It looks like we need to find the length and the midpoint of all three sides of this triangle. So the first one is CD, so that's right here. And if I want to find the length of CD, for me, it's probably easiest to make a right triangle. Could use a distance formula. I'd rather not. So my two legs are 4 and 4. Or if you want to use traditional Pythagorean theorem, this is A and this is B. And we are trying to find the hypotenuse, which is C. So we set our equation up over here. And we have 4 squared plus 4 squared equals, and we'll just call this CD squared, because that's what the name of it is. And 16 plus 16 is 32. So 32 is CD squared. And then to solve this, to get rid of the squared, the inverse operation is to square root. So I square root both sides. And I find out that CD is, and we need to go to the nearest tenth, I believe the direction said. So that'll be 5.7 is the length of CD. Now we want to find, actually I'm not going to do the midpoint. I'm going to do all the lengths and then all the midpoints so you can kind of see the pattern here. So now I'm going to come over and I want to find the length of AC. So AC is this length right here. Again, it's on a diagonal, so I can't really count blocks. So I'm going to make a right triangle over here, which that leg is 2. And then this leg here would be 6. And so we're going to set up an equation similar to before. So I'm going to go 2 squared plus 6 squared equals, we're talking about AC squared. 2 squared is 4 plus 36, that's 40, equals AC squared. Take the square root of both sides, and we punch that in, and we get the square root of 40. We're looking at about 6.3. So AC is about, squiggly equals kind of means approximately or about 6.3. All right, last one. Let's go over here. We're trying to find the length of AD. So we make a leg, which is 6. We make another leg, which is 2. And you know what? I don't think we need to repeat that process because we see that that's the exact same question here. So I know that the length of AD is approximately 6.3. No sense in redoing all that work there. All right, so those are the length, Pythagorean theorem. Actually, if we wanted to find the perimeter of that triangle, we could now just add, this 5.7, a 6.3, plus another 6.3. And if we wanted to, we could find the perimeter of the triangle, which would be 18.3. And we don't know what the units are, but this is just if you wanted to. Perimeter. All right, next thing we need to do is we need to find out the midpoint of all these segments. A couple different ways you could do it. There's kind of just an old school way where you just kind of make a rectangle and draw a diagonal. I'm going to show the mathematical way. So we look at our coordinates. So point A here is at -3 on the x-axis, and it is up at 4 on the y-axis. All right, so that's point A. And point D, or actually, excuse me, we're not doing that one. We need to do CD. So we're trying to find the middle of this segment right here. So this point here is at 3, 2, and this point down here is at -1, -2. So the easiest way to do these are you want to average the x's and average the y's. Sometimes I find that best to just stack them up. So we have x and y, we have our second x and y, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to add the x's and divide by 2. So I'm going to add my two x numbers, 3 plus a -1, and then divide it by 2, which gives me 1. And then I add my y numbers, which -2 and +2 are 0, divided by 2 is 0. So 1, 0 should be the middle. Let's just verify. Over 1, up 0. Hey, that looks good to me. So there's the correct answer for part A. Part B says AC, trying to find the middle of AC. So we're trying to find the middle of that red line. Point A here is at -3, 4. So our 2 points this time we're looking at -3, 4. And then we're looking at this bottom point down here, -1, -2. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to average these x's. So I'm going to add -3 plus -1 is a -4. Cut it in half. So that gives me an x value of -2. And then I add the y side here, these two numbers. 4 plus a -2 is 2. Chopped in half is 1. And let's check it out. -2 up 1 is right there. Hey, that looks really good to me. Visually, you always want to just check it and see if it looks okay. All right, part C says find the midpoint of CD. So the midpoint of CD which I just noticed that there's a repeat here of CD, so I'm going to have to change your sheet. This right here should have been AD. That right there should read AD, because otherwise it looks exactly like number 1 there. By the time I print it for you guys, I'll have that little typo fixed, but that should be AD. So let's find the midpoint from A to D. Glad I caught that before I printed all those. So we have -3, 4, and we have 3, 2. Those are our 2 ordered pairs. So to find the midpoint, add the x's, divide by 2, add the y's, divide by 2, which will give us a point of 0, 3. Let's just check that out, 0, 3, and that looks very good. So now we have 3 midpoints. Now, I am going to warn you, I'm going to give you a little hint. This is for you cats that watch this review video. I want to reward you. On the real test, I'm also going to ask you to find the length of a line that connects 2 midpoints. All right? So that's just a little something for you guys that watch the video. I'm going to ask you a question about connecting the lengths of some midpoints. And you just have to make another little Pythagorean triangle here, a little 1, 3, and get after it. But I'll leave that part up to you. All right, moving right along. So we're coming on down to number 2. Point M is the midpoint of ST. So I think I'm going to want to draw this thing. So we have a segment, M points S and T. M is the midpoint. So I'm going to slap an M right here in the middle. I'm going to put my congruency marks, my little tick marks. SM is 2x plus 4. So that's on this side. The right-hand side, MT, is 3x minus 8. And it says make a sketch, label it, and include the dimensions. Done. Set up the equation and solve. And then ultimately, we want to solve for x and we want to find the length of the entire segment from S to T. All right, well, this one should be pretty easy. Since SM equals MT, that's the definition of a midpoint. That's what a midpoint does. I'm just going to put the values. I'm going to substitute these values in here. And now we're just going to do some algebra. I always attack the variables first, and I always attack the smallest one. So I'm going to go minus 2x from both sides. That way I end up with a positive 1x. I'll bring the 4 down, bring the minus 8 down. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add that 8 to both sides. And that should isolate x for me and get it by itself. So correct answer is x equals 12. So I've done this part. Now I still need to find ST. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this 12 and I'm going to jam it in both spots. I'm going to substitute. So over here I have 2 times 12, which is 24, added to 4. That's 28. Hopefully I get 28 over here. I have 3 times 12, which is 36. 36 take away is 28. Awesome. So that worked out nice. Now, final question. What's the total distance from S to T? Well, it's 28 plus 28, or 56. So, not too bad. You just got to draw the picture, set up the equation, get after it. All right, scrolling on down to number 3. Looks like we have 2 angles that are supplementary. So, I could draw the picture here. It says it wants me to. So I'm going to draw a picture. I'm actually going to make these 2 a linear pair. I don't have to make them form a straight line. They could be separate, but I'm going to make them adjacent. So I have M, L, N is one angle, and NLK is the other angle. Now this picture might not be accurate, it might not be drawn to scale, but who cares? It should still be able to solve everything for me. So let's do this. MLN is 6x plus 4. Maybe I'll do that angle in blue. So MLN is 6x plus 4 from here to here. And NLK, I'll make that the red angle. NLK is 4x plus 16. So I'll put that over here. And now the key part is supplementary. Remember, supplementary means they got to add up to 180 degrees. So there's my algebra equation. I'm going to do the 6x plus 4 added to the 4x plus 6 should equal 180 degrees. All right? And if I was proving this, I'd say, hey, that's the definition of supplementary angles. They equal 180. Well, now we got to gather up some like terms. Over here on the left-hand side, I have 6x and a positive 4x. Gives me 10x. I have a positive 4 and a positive 6. Let's call that 10. Equals 180. And let's minus this 10 from both sides. So I get 10x equals 170. And then divide both sides by 10 for an answer of x equals 17. So I know x equals 17. Now I need to find MLN. So we're going to take this 17 that we found and we're going to plug it in right over here. So 6 times 17 added to 4. Well, that's 60 and 42. That's 102 plus 4. It's 106, I believe. And now we'll do the same thing in the red angle. We're going to go 4 times that 17 added to 6, which is 40 and 28, which is 68 plus 6, 74. And oh man, that looks pretty good. 106 and 74, they do add up to 180. So this was the 106. This was the 74. And life is beautiful. Everything fits together. All right, number 4. School is 10 miles north, 4 miles east of the house. The rec center is 2 to the south, 8 to the west of the house. So we're comparing from the house. If you want to on this one, you could use some graph paper. I'm not going to. I'm just going to kind of do it straight up. But we started our house here. If you're doing this on grid paper, I would make your house at 0, 0. Might make things a little bit easier. So my school is 10 to the north, 10 up, and 4 to the east. So 4 to the east. So you might want to kind of just double check and make sure that you got your directions straight here, just to kind of help you out. So that point over there, that is the school. So here is the school. And then we come back, and it looks like that we need to go, the rec center is 2 to the south of the house. So again, here's the house. We're going to go 2 south, and then 8 west. Over here, 8. And this is the rec center. So I'm going to call that R. So what we want to find is, as a crow flies, a perfectly straight line from the rec center to the school. We're trying to find that distance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Pythagorean Theorem. I think that's one of the easier ways to kind of set this up. Regardless of how you want to draw it, I'm going to kind of come this way, and then I'm going to come this way. And I'm basically breaking this thing up into horizontal and vertical components. So this side right over here, it's 4. We went 4 to the east, and then we came 8 over here to the west. So 4 and 8. That means this whole side over here is 12. All right, that leg is 12. And now for this side over here, the vertical, that's our north and south added together. You know, this over here is north plus south, which was 10 plus 2. So this is 12. So remember up here, this is east plus west. So we have a 12, 12. Well, I know a little trick that we're going to learn later. So I already know that the answer to this is going to be 12 square root of 2. And I'll do that in a later section, show you why that works. But let's actually crank it out. So we're going to do Pythagorean Theorem. Legs squared plus legs squared equals, and we'll just call this SR squared, the distance from the school to the rec center. And we got a $1.44 and a $1.44, which is 288 equals SR squared. And now on all Pythagorean Theorem problems, our last move, to get rid of that squared, we take the square root of both sides. And the distance from the school to the rec, let me pop this in my calculator, square root 288. Looks like about 16.97. 16.97. I don't see anywhere where it tells me to round differently, so the beginning instructions of the test said round to the nearest tenth, which would be here, and that 7 tells me that I should round up, so we'll just call it 17 miles. Correct answer. All right, moving right along. Number 5, an angle's measure is 5 degrees less than 3 times the measure of its supplement. Find the measure of the angle and its supplement. So we need to find the angle and the supplement. Well, we kind of did a few of these in our notes and on our homework. So first thing we need to figure out here is supplement equals 180. Remember, complement's 90, supplement's 180. So I know that I have something plus something equals 180. Here's my two angles. And I kind of showed you guys how to do this with algebra. We don't know anything about its supplement. They give me no clues for that. So we're going to call him X. All right, we don't know anything about him. Now the other one, we do know something about the angle. It said the angle's measure is 5 degrees less than 3 times the supplement. So if he's the supplement, I need to be 5 degrees less than 3 times the supplement. Now, if they would have said more than, you'd put a plus sign. But 5 less than, you put a minus sign. So now we basically are just coming through here and solving this equation. We have 1x plus 3x is 4x minus 5 is 180. We add that 5 to both sides. And we get 4x equals 185. And we divide both sides by 4. Oh man, this one's going to be kind of messy. That's too bad. So we got x equals, what goes in there, 4, that'd be 16, 25, that's a 6. And it looks like a quarter. Let me just double check that. Calculator, 185. Somebody will catch me and get extra credit points. Nope, 46.25 is good. So this is one of the angles, all right? And then to find his supplement, that's his partner that adds up to 180. So we got to take away 46.25, and that comes out to be, looks like a $1.33.75. So unfortunately, the two angles here came out to be decimals, but we're okay. Everything's going to be all right. But that's basically the idea. This would have been very hard to use guess and check because you probably wouldn't pick angles that are, have decimals in the degrees. So the algebra is faster and better. Moving right along. Number 6. Using the figure to the right, if angle BFD and AFC are right angles. So what's that mean to be a right angle? A right angle means 90 degrees, perpendicular. And the measure of CFD is 72. So let me just draw that in there right now. CFD is 72 degrees. What is the value of X? Well, I'm going to put my little 90 degree marks in here. So BFD, oh, and I got to notice right here, the figure is not drawn to scale. That means it might not be what it looks like. So I can see right away, BFD, it says it's a right angle. Doesn't really look like it's a right angle, but if they tell me it is, it is. I also know that AFC, so AFC, which is this angle right here, is also 90 degrees. So we've got a little bit of a puzzle here to put together. What is the value of X? Well, first thing I notice is that these two angles are supposed to add up to 90 degrees. So if I do 90 minus 72, that's 18 degrees right there. All right? But then I also noticed that this angle and this angle are supposed to add up to 90 degrees. So 90 minus 18 actually just comes back to be 72. So I believe the value of x equals 72 degrees. And it looks like we'd have another little 18 over here if we really needed it. But so the picture kind of throws you off. You got to trust the words and you got to label. Biggest thing that you need to do, one of the things I see kids struggle with is they don't label the picture. So label that sucker. All right, next problem. Moving on down. Number 7. Kind of another not drawn to scale, so that's a little bit nerve-wracking there. But that's what they like to do on these high-stakes tests, so we need to simulate it. BF, ray BF bisects CBD. All right, so first of all, angle CBD, and I'm going to kind of redraw this as I go. Here's angle CBD, C to B to D. That angle got chopped in half, got bisected by ray BF. All right, so that means that the distance from here to here, okay, I'm going to put 2 little arc marks there. That distance right there in blue needs to match this distance right here. Now, it definitely doesn't look true, but it is, because it said that ray BF right here did that. So we split it in 2 equal pieces, even though it doesn't look right. And ray BG, all right, let's do this in red. Ray BG bisected FBC. So FBC, I'm going to do this in black. F to B to C, this angle right here, got chopped in half by this dude. Now again, it doesn't look like the red line split that in half, but it says that this piece has to equal that piece. So they're really trying to trick me right here. All right, now we get to put some measurements in here. This is nice. EBF is 40. So EBF is right here in this little piece, and that's 40. So it's not the whole blue part. It's just that little big angle there, little big angle, I guess. And then ABD is 28. So ABD is 28. From here, there, that opening, 28. All right. Well, and ultimate goal is find DBG. Holy smokes. So DBG, ultimate goal is go from DB all the way to here. Man, we got to figure out how many degrees that is. All right, we got our work cut out for us. Let's see what's going on. Well, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on the blue. You know, I'm going to maybe draw this down here my own kind of way and make it a little bit better. But just pulling out the needed information. If this is 28, and then this BF line right here, all right, since I know that this and this were equal to each other, and I have the 28, you know, that's a straight line. So 180, take away 28 is 152, all right? So I know that whole blue angle there is 152. And when I split it in half because it got bisected, that's 76 degrees. So really, this piece and this piece are 76. So I'm going to come over here on my picture and I'm going to label that. This whole blue piece right here is 76. And then this entire blue piece right here is 76. Well, that hooks me up because that gives me some other little pieces here. Because I knew that if this is 40 and this whole blue piece is 76, I can subtract and I can get 36 for that little piece right there. So now my 36 and my 40 take care of the blue. And then I'm going to come over here in red. And if this whole thing is 76 and this red line bisected it, I can divide that by 2 and I can get a 38 and a 38. So I think I have this picture on lockdown. Even though it doesn't look right, the numbers ring true. So let's try to do our ultimate answer here. To get this big green arc, Well, I have 36 of it. Then I have this section right here was 40. And then this section right here is 38. And put all those together, 36 plus 40 plus 38. You know, I guess I could have used my 76 up above, but whatever. 14, carry the 1, that's 448. Looks like that would come out to be 114 degrees for DBG. Wow, that was a rough one. That one's pretty tough. All right, let's see what else we got. Oh, hey, that's it. All right, well, hopefully you watched this video. Hopefully you got a couple hints about what was going to be on the test to reward you guys for sticking it through and you know, going and using all your resources. So make sure you got your cheat sheet ready. Come in tomorrow ready to rock and roll. See you.